Hello everyone, welcome back to school and spring too. The sun is shining. It is a good start to spring. We opened schools this morning to our in-school provision and remotely at home. I hope you've all had a lovely morning so far. I have been very busy because, as you probably have heard from your parents and carers, that Boris Johnson last night made an announcement that he wants all schools to open on the 8th of March, which is what he had said before, but it has been confirmed. So this is something that I don't want you to worry about because that's my job and all of the SLT and all of the staff at Primrose Hill who will help me to make sure that we're planning for this reopening and making sure that it is as safe as possible for you to return. Until then, I want you to continue to be amazing, whether or not you're at school or at home doing your learning. Keep focused because you did such a wonderful job last half term, and I know we've been through such a tough and difficult time, but you have been marvelous and you have produced so many wonderful outcomes. And I'm so proud of you all, as are all of the team at Primrose Hill and your parents and carers. So well done, give yourselves a pat on the back. Okay, so we have to keep that momentum, keep it going, and making sure that we continue to achieve over the next couple of weeks, ready to come back to school. I will be recording more videos about this to your parents and carers and also to you so that you're ready to come back on the 8th. Okay, I'm going to share now. I'm doing this today on my computer at work when I usually do it at home. So let me just go into my assembly. There I am. Okay, so yes, as I said, welcome back. I hope you had a lovely half term, whatever you did. I know there wasn't as much to do as normal, but even just relaxing, recharging our batteries, getting ready for this half term. I just found it lovely to sleep in every day and go for walks, eat yummy food. I did lots of cooking over the half term, lots of healthy meals. I did lots of exercising as well. As I've told you before, I bought a trampoline that I have at home. I do my trampoline. It's called rebound exercising. It's fantastic. Keeps me fit and it also keeps my brain healthy. So welcome back. I hope you had a lovely half term and let's see what I'm going to talk about today. So yes, I thought today I'd talk to you about change. Obviously we've had to cope with a lot of different things and lots of change over this last year in particular and over this spring term. We came back to school in September. We felt really happy being back, and then things changed again over Christmas and in January. So I've written here, change is good. And I've got a question mark there because what I want you to think about is change good? Is it always good? And what are some of the things that happen to us when change happens, or even when we're expecting something to change? So for example, last night, because I knew that school was going to be changing and that we're going to have to think about opening, I had a really restless night's sleep and I was thinking about it all night and I was worried and I was anxious. So sometimes you don't realize that your body reacts to things that change. However, other times when I've had change in my life, I've reacted to a really positive way. So for example, the change of my role at school. So I've gone from assistant head to acting head. Now, obviously that came with lots of different challenges, but I'm also learnt so much and I feel so proud of myself for accomplishments. So I want you to have a think about this at home, talk about it in your class or to your families. Is change always good? And then the next one is, can you think of examples when changing something or having change is good and sometimes it could be a bad thing? And how do we react to that and how can we help to cope with that change? That's what I want us to really focus on this week in class and your discussions. So can change sometimes be good and can it sometimes be bad? And how do we cope with it when it is bad? And I'm going to talk to you about that in a second as well. So this is an example, like a metaphor. It's saying here, oh, look, sorry, let me just make myself smaller so you can see. So a house of cards. So sometimes, for example, this is like a metaphor. So imagine if I took one of these cards out. What would happen? So one of those things, so in your life, you're the deck of cards, this beautiful house of cards. And if you took one thing out, of one thing changed, what would happen to the rest of it? And sometimes what happens is with ourselves, we have to think about how we're going to cope with that change and how we can rebuild and put that deck of cards, that house of cards back together. So this is what I'm going to talk to you about now, thinking about sometimes when it's unplanned or we don't know it's going to happen, how we have to be resilient and how we have to build ourselves and think about how we can cope with that change. So, I want to think also this year, what kind of things has changed so far? So let me just move myself up. So we've had lots of changes this year. It might happen at school. You might think of things that have happened obviously at school. We've known that lots of things have changed, but also it could be something changing in your home, in your family, in your personal lives. There's lots of different things, and change always happens. It's inevitable. That means it's going to happen. We can't always stay the same. So, we're going to grow older. We're going to become more responsible. It's inevitable that change is going to happen. And what is really important is thinking about how we can manage and cope with that change and how we can build our resilience to enable us to stay positive and look at change in a good way, because sometimes that's really hard to do. So one of the changes, thinking about what's coming, I want you to have a think about that and talk about that at home and in your class. I will send this to the class teachers as well. So one of the things that I was thinking about over the holiday is that with change, it does affect our mental health. And remember when we talked about this recently, mental health is about the health of your mind. So it says here, mental health is just like our physical health. Sometimes you feel good, but sometimes you don't feel so good. Mental health affects how we think, feel, and behave. And because at the moment there's lots of things that are changing and lots of things that are happening to us in school, as I said, and outside of school, what will happen to you is that you will start thinking about your body will start thinking about these things and trying to help you to manage with this change. So what's a really important thing is to talk about it. So it's okay to be honest and to say, I'm worried about this, or I'm not sure how this is going to happen. And as adults, we do that all the time. So this morning I met with the SLT and we talked about the challenges that we're going to have over the next couple of weeks. And together we thought about what could be the solutions, and we talked about that. And talking is really important to creating a positive mental health and a good mental health. So just to remind you that over the next couple of weeks, some of these feelings and some of your anxieties might come and some might not. You might be completely happy and you're excited to come back and you're not worried, which is great. That's fantastic. And then maybe when you come to school, you might feel differently. And that's also fine, because you're never going to have the same feeling every day. And it might be a couple of days, and one day you might have a bad day, and that is also okay, because everybody goes through that. One of the things that we talked about last time was about having a good mental health. So it's about being confident, which is what we want to see. We want to see happy children and adults, and we want to feel confident and good about ourselves. That's what we want you to come back to school feeling. Sometimes, though, you might not feel like that, and you might feel sad, or you're in a bad mood, and you might have things to worry about, but that is fine. And as I mentioned to you before, remember the worry box is there virtually online for you to talk, to fill in, and then someone can talk to you about it. You can also request to talk to any adult in the school, and also talking about it in your families is really important as well. So these are some of the things that we've talked about before. So last time, and you remember, coping with change can affect our mental health. So we need to turn that around and try and be positive and look at that change in a positive way. So remember, you're not alone. We're all going through this together, and we all understand, and actually talking about it and having that empathy and sympathy for each other is really important. Asking for help is really important, as I mentioned, and being kind, as I always say, because when you're feeling a little bit low or feeling a bit worried or whatever, when someone says something to you or does something that's kind, it just helps lift your spirits and makes you feel really good. So that's really important as well. So over the next couple of weeks, one of the things that all of the children will be working on is building our resilience. So resilience is about finding a way to bounce back quickly. So this is about coping with change. So thinking about how we can quickly go from one thing to another and actually deal with it. So what I want us all to work on is keeping positive, thinking about what we can focus on to make us feel like that, and also to discuss how we're feeling and being open and honest with each other about that, so that we're ready when we come back to school, that we're all ready and we're feeling that we can achieve anything, because anything is possible, and I have seen it happen. You are all marvelous, and I'm sure this will continue to be the case. Okay, now I just want to leave you with one last thing. I saw this over the holiday, and I thought it was so wonderful and such a nice message. So I've always said to you, and I've always taken pride in myself of being a kind person. That is one thing that I know all of my friends say and my family say to me, and it's the way I was always taught growing up, to be kind to each other. And I saw this on the school's Twitter. I think I followed this person, and it says, cultivate kindness. So it's about how we can create a culture, a place where everybody is kind. And kindness helps us to connect, it helps us to understand, it helps us to listen, to take time, to inspire, value, accept, teach, and emphasize. And here, what's happened is that this person is blowing one of those, those little like flowers that you blow and they sort of spread. You can see them spreading here. And it's saying, even the smallest flower can scatter magnificent seeds. So it's saying that when you are doing something kind, it scatters and it helps to achieve all of those things. So one of the things that I want us to really, really think about is how we can continue to be kind and create this culture of kindness, which I know you can all do. So, until Friday's Achievement Assembly, I hope you have a lovely week. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and I will see you hopefully soon. I will be in touch about reopening the school, and I will give your parents and carers some more information, and also you, as soon as I've finalised all of those things. I miss you all so very much, and I can't wait to see you all soon. Take care of yourselves, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye!